intro, and usually it's about 45 seconds, a minute. AJ and I will be talking back and forth for a couple of seconds. Then we'll introduce you, bring you on, and all that kind of stuff. So
Good. Yeah, it should go not more than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll do the traditional intro. We'll probably mention a couple little things like where this podcast will be found.
Yep.
All the different podcast platforms, besides Tonight Live, YouTube, and Facebook Live.
You guys are live right now.
You
guys are on YouTube, and you guys are good to go.
Okay. All right, everybody. Looks like we're going live. We're going to have a great time tonight. Welcome to the At the Net podcast with Craig Bell and AJ Chabria. Craig, what do you got for us, bud?
Well, let's get the podcast started. Let's get a little James Scott Campbell.
Hello, you are At the Net, and welcome, friends, to another episode of the At the Net podcast, powered by Tex-Mex Productions. Working the soundboards in the back of the house are our producers, D-Mac and Dave the Brain. Time to say hello to your hosts, Craig Bell and AJ Chabria, as they're about to take us through 3 sets of tennis, talking life and all the news as it seems to them. Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Bell.
All right, that would be thanks to our At the Net podcast girl, Margot Carter, for that dynamic introduction. Welcome, fans of the great game. You're listening to season 1, episode 104. How do you say that in Spanish? You know?
It's
a lot.
Cento cuatro, cento. I'm going
Something.
Italian and Spanish.
Okay.
Terrible.
There we go.
Terrible.
At the Net podcast. That's with AJC over here on my left.
And Craig Bell to my right, as always.
And we're talking the great game of tennis tonight, as it
seems to us.
Also, thanks go out to our good amigos at Tex-Mex Productions. That would be one, Darian D-Mac McBrayer. And we do have a brain sighting. He's producing from Fredericksburg, Maryland, believe it or not, tonight. So he's all the way over on the East Coast, helping us out. We had a little technical difficulty, sorry we're a little late getting on at the moment. But
well, he fixed us up on Eastern time. Dave, big thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Brain. Also, be sure to like and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Plus, check out our good work on Fireside, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor Breaker, Castbox, Overcast, Pocket Cast. Ooh, I had to take another breath. Radio Public and Spotify. That's all the important communication sites the kids find popular, like Zach, right?
Correct.
Yeah. All right. And if you'd like to be an At the Net podcast girl and read the opening intro like the dynamic Margot Carter, speaking the Queen's English, right?
That's right.
Or is that the King's English? Well, that's the Queen right now, isn't it? I guess. Yeah. So, like Matt Hanlon, he speaks the Queen's English.
He does.
Let us know, because we're always looking for some new voices to read the opening intro. But speaking of dynamic, this evening we've got 2, not 1, but 2. So that's why I said the dynamic duo right here, Matt Hanlon and Zach Zvida. Welcome, guys, to At the Net podcast. How you guys doing?
Good evening. Good. How you doing?
Well, we were so happy to have you all on the podcast with us. We've been setting this up for a couple of weeks ago. I was really looking forward to Sunday night, December 12th. Had it penciled in because we get to speak with one of our local compadres, Matt Hanlon, and one of his proteges, Zach Zvida, who we met a little over a year ago down in Austin, Texas.
That's right. We did interviews with Zach and courtside commentary for 2 of his matches.
Yep.
And had the best time. And then here we are about a year later. He lost in that final, but won the final of the same tournament, pro event in Austin. So we're proud of you, Zach. Welcome to the show.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Looks like in the meantime, he might have grown a little facial hair too. Maybe he's got.
I know, a little bit.
He's trying to, maybe he's trying to be like Matt Hanlon with the goatee. There it is, man.
Don't get the gray yet. Hold off on the gray for a little while.
I've clearly not gotten that memo, but
I didn't get the memo. I should have let my hair grow out. I didn't get that memo. Gosh, I'm behind the scene already. Brain, do you have any facial hair? Let's see. He's around here somewhere.
He may have signed off. Okay.
No, he's actually over on. He's.
Oh, I see.
He's still there. But
good.
Well, like I said, thanks for joining us tonight, guys. We'll do our usual 3-set rotation. AJ will be doing the first 2 sets, kind of talking some serious business about the great game of tennis, and then I get to come on and talk a little pop culture.
Yuck it up, have some fun at the end. Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
I'm always the yuck monkey. So,
Well, I want to, when we go three sets like this, we always start with some background on
Yes.
both guys. I'd love to start with Matt back in the UK. How'd you get started in the great game of tennis, Matt?
Yeah, quite simply, I just got a racket for Christmas. This is the season now, and opened up this massively oversized, uncomfortably heavy. Probably it felt like a 29-inch metal racket when I was 8 or 9, and just started smacking balls against walls and breaking windows. And so my dad got tired of replacing windows and thought it'd be cheaper to invest in tennis lessons at his local club, where he was a squash player, but they had tennis courts. And so lessons turned into some group classes, and then first tournament. I think I won my first tournament, which is a massive just confidence boost and just an adrenaline rush at that age of having a little trophy and beating up on some of your peers. So I think I really got addicted to the art of trying to compete and win. That's what I love the most, I think.
Well done, Matt. We're thankful for that Christmas gift. It sparked a great career. Zachary, how about you? You started really early.
I did. Yeah. I started when I was 2. My dad got me into it because he played in college and a little bit on the tour. He played a couple pro tournaments, but he was the main one who just got me into it. And I mean, since I was little, I always enjoyed it. And they would never force me to ever play. And I was always the one every day to want to go out on court and try to get better. And then I just pretty much fell in love with it my whole life.
That's fantastic. Did Matt have a role early on in San Diego in your upbringing as a tennis player?
He did very early. What were we, Matt? I was 2 or 3?
2. Yeah.
2. Jeez.
Weird,
Man.
isn't it?
It's weird. I was still in diapers. But yeah, I think
Not
I
me.
was
He was. Yeah.
Not me. Not toilet trained, but clearly you learned that two-handed backhand very, very early through Matt. That's awesome. Matt, can you take us through a couple of the things? Because sometimes when you teach a toddler, it's babysitting with a little bit of hand-eye coordination, a little bit of proprioception, a little bit of hopping. What are some things that you instilled in this kid, Zach, that you feel helped him out in the junior career?
Yeah, well, let me just back up a touch just to say, like,
Sure.
how we got to that point, because I think it was pretty abnormal for a 26, 27-year-old guy that started coaching to approach a dad and say, "Hey, can I work with your 2-year-old?" Right? That not something that I'd seen before. And I grew up at Boltier, so I'd seen a lot of kids, but not 2-year-olds. And so when I was walking by his court when he was with his dad was tossing him balls, and I tell this story quite a lot. Not only was he connecting with the ball and making it over the net time and time again. I mean, the consistency was obviously very impressive. But what stood out was the fact that he was just locked in for every ball. There was no like looking at the butterflies or the pretty clouds or what's going on. He was just tunnel vision. And I stood there for 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes just watching it. And he didn't even look over at me. He was just watching the like super hungry to hit that next ball. And I'm like, oh, if this kid's really going to do that for 15 or 20 minutes, maybe I could get involved and have some fun and see where it can go. And and his dad and I have had an amazing relationship since. And obviously, his dad spent a lot more time on the court with him than I have. But I guess Zach was different because nothing that you would do with a normal 2-year-old is what I was doing with Zach. Like, we started trying to take balls on the rise almost immediately. He was trying to pick it up off the short hop. Maybe at 3 or 4 years old, instead of just be happy to connect with the ball, right? And then, okay, can you move and take the ball on the short hop? And so we did a lot of on the rise stuff, not backing up from the baseline. Kind of a little bit of a tip out of the Andre Agassi playbook. Again, kind of what I grew up just seeing and believing in that structure. I think if you can hold your ground and redirect. And you absorb someone else's power without getting bullied too far back. It doesn't matter if you're 6'6" or I think Zach's 5'9", 5'10" now. You can compete at the highest level. So we always, for me anyway, I always wanted him to have a foundation that could ultimately play at any level. Whether or not, who knows where that 2-year-old is going to go. But if you start kind of putting those fun concepts into his game early on, if he sticks with it and trains that enough, it'll come. And then. Not worrying about junior matches so much, but worrying about, okay, can you play with the big boys when you're 16, 18, and 20 and have that game that blossom with that long-term mindset? That just started off from day one, really. That's kind of what we looked at doing. And I knew his dad was eager to kind of follow along with that as well. So and here we are.
And here we are. Well, tremendous vision there for the future. Zach, looking back, most people don't remember being 2 or 3. What age do you remember? 4, 5 that you were a tennis player?
Whew, I've probably 5, and I think my racket was still dragging on the ground because I believe I used a full-size racket like my whole life. I never did the smaller rackets
You didn't
or
go with a
anything.
little 21, 23 inch.
I don't think so. I
Yeah.
remember like telling the stories, and I would always be dragging it on the ground really heavy. But yeah, I remember there's like a video on YouTube too with Matt and I hitting together, and when we were like 7 or 8.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, I think what Matt said from a young age, of course, having fun with it, but then also just trying to, be serious and try learning the things early too. And Matt or my dad wasn't forcing me to do that. I would always want to come out and, do that, work on those things. When I was 3 years old, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old, and taking the ball on the rise. I do remember certain things that we did, and even like putting candy under the cones, trying to hit the cones.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I remember that too.
That,
Um,
that kind of motivation, right? That's
yeah,
priceless.
just the motivation, and I think that really helped me from a really young age compared to like later. Don't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to find. I mean, everyone has their own motivators, right? What makes someone tick. And I think as a coach or in business, you got to tap into that early on and find out how to get the most out of someone. And whether it's a kid with candy or whether they just want to compete and play points against you or win trophies. I mean, whatever it is, just finding that early on and it changes over time as well, right? So I think I spent a few dollars on some candies and I enjoyed some as well. So it worked out for everybody.
That's great.
Bribery was involved.
Bribery, yeah. Well, the results speak for themselves. Let's talk for a moment about results. When we saw you play, you are still unbelievably good at taking balls on the rise, particularly that backhand. And you seem to handle big guys serving really, really big. And tell us what your favorite parts of your game are, Zach. And then same question for Matt, who is at 40 years old, still a really, really great player. So Zach first, please.
Yeah, I'd say my favorite parts definitely my backhand side. I like using my backhand line. I think that's my best shot. But I think my game style is like try to be more on offense, like stay on the baseline, kind of even what we worked on with Matt and I when we were 5 years old, like not going so far back to the baseline, always taking things on the rise and just try to find the angle. And I say that's more my game style. And I'm now transitioning to like coming in more. And of course I'll have to be on defense more, but I say that's like the main thing is try to be on offense as much as possible, but not taking too big of a risk.
Good stuff. Matt, what kind of tennis player are you?
Was I? Let's get that correct. Well, I think I was, not the biggest guy, 6 foot tall, not going to blow someone off the court generally, but I was always kind of the very physical player. I would almost David Ferrer someone to death. Not at that level, obviously, but beating someone with my legs and my fitness was certainly part of my weaponry. My forehand wasn't bad. My serve could have been better. That's what probably stopped me from getting up the rankings higher than I did. One-handed backhand was always tough on the returns as well. So there were a couple of weaknesses in the game. People with volley as well, so that made it tough at times getting over the top of a high kicker and bringing it down. But forehand, footwork, I just would have liked about another 10 mile an hour on that first serve. That might have got me some free points and not worn out my legs too much. So yeah, I'm certainly a different tennis player nowadays because I don't have the same nimbleness that I wish I did.
Matt, still pretty nimble and quite a good doubles player, which brings me to Zach. How much doubles do you get to play, and does it help your singles when you do?
Yeah, I don't play too much doubles. I probably should. I will a little bit more in 2022 because I think it just helps, like in singles too, just working on the volleys or specific things, and especially with me, like trying to come into the net, I'm working on the transition part, and I think that's good for doubles too because you don't want to stay always back in doubles. So yeah, I don't play too much of it. I've done a couple tournaments. I've won actually one tournament like one of the very few that played. But now definitely start playing more doubles, and I think it's good to work on things and try to take that into the singles because I want to be a singles guy, but I think it's good to you know play doubles and work on certain things.
Good to hear. Zach, I'll ask Matt actually this one first, and then we'll go down to you, Zach. Matt, tell us about his process of winning Kalamazoo and then electing to play a little bit of pro tennis and bypassing college tennis. And then we'll flip down to Zach after that.
Yeah, so I mean, kind of going back to what I was saying, the game plan was always develop a pro-like game, and so as you I'm sure you researched his junior tournament experience is basically zero. I mean, compared to anyone else, he was walking onto a court with 1% of the matches that his opponents have played in their career. I mean, it's quite phenomenal, right? And so for him to get through that draw first time around at Kalamazoo against a lot of experienced players at 16 and win it 3 years early, I think that just said a lot about the potential, the upside. He was 4 inches shorter than most of his opponents and certainly 20 to 30 pounds lighter. So the ball striking was there. We knew there's a lot more development to come in all areas. He's been homeschooled for a number of years, and it's not something he probably enjoys as much as playing his tennis. And so it was a pretty easy decision that get the homeschool out of the way, but focus on going kind of full on, because it's very difficult nowadays to kind of do everything well. And so yeah, he's luckily he got a nice check at the US Open, and it's helped him pay for his travel as well. After he was 16, COVID shut it down a little bit, but that enabled him to train more. So yeah, I think it's absolutely the right play for him. It's not the right play for everybody. Luckily, he's got support of the USTA. He's got supportive parents. He's building. He hasn't quite probably got there yet, but he's building a good team around him. And it does take a village, right, to make a tennis player. So yeah, there's no doubts about he should be 100% focused on making the most of his tennis career now. And if he wants to go back to school later on, no one's stopping him, right? So that's always an option. But yeah, I'm fully supportive. As long as he's happy doing it, then I'm happy with him doing it.
Good stuff, Coach. Zach, we've talked a little bit about adopting men's tennis ethics and game style very, very early on. Tell us about your process going straight from juniors to men's professional tennis.
Yeah, I mean, definitely different than like all the other players, but always from a young age. Even when I remember saying when I'm like 8, 9, 10 years old, like, I want to go pro. I never even thought about college. I never thought about it once really. And then like I took probably 4 years off, maybe even more, in junior tournaments through like 10 through 14 or whatever it was, 10 through 15. And then I mean, I played my first future for like a wild card tournament. I won that, and so I got into a future main draw. Then I won my first round against the 1 seed at 15, and then that kind of changed some things. Like I saw my level could be there against a guy who was like 400, 500 at 15, and then from there, that's when I started playing a little bit more pro like smaller tournaments, and then getting into Kalamazoo, and that helped a lot.
Your technique is great. Tell us a little bit about your speed, and which is obviously very, very impressive. How did you work on your movement early on, or is that just natural?
We did a lot of fitness. I remember with Matt too. Like after a long practice, even we'll practice for 3-4 hours when I was younger, and then we would always do fitness after. I remember that, which I never wanted to. I thought I'd be good for the day, but we would always do some type of movement stuff after the practice. But I think it's important with my height too. Like I'm not going to be a huge server. I don't have to stay in the rallies for a long time. So definitely speed is really important for me.
Your speed is not just defensive. You're able to use your speed offensively. I'm sure that's part of the mindset Matt has helped you with. Matt, tell us about his future as you see it, game style and coming into the net, like Zach mentioned a little more.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be, and I think in this day and age, certainly the last 10, 15 years, it's shown us that you can't have many weaknesses if you want to be at the top, right? I mean, look at the number one guy. I can't think of too many weaknesses, right? So to have an all-round game, to be able to have a plan B and a plan C, if plan A is not working, that involves you having a complete, comprehensive game. And so, yeah, for him getting to the net, feeling more comfortable, how to track balls at the net better, you know, when to come in, when not to come in. I mean, there's so much to that style, which he, again, hasn't spent a whole lot of time doing yet. So there's a massive upside to his game if he can finish points at the net. Plus, it's putting less wear and tear on his body. It'll carry him for a longer career. It'll help him feel less tired throughout in a tournament. I mean, it all pays dividends, right? So, you know, that part of his game, certainly, he's got the hands, he's got the speed. He may not have the wingspan of a Polka, but he's going to be cracking those approach shots just like Agassi does, and hopefully the ball won't be coming back as often like Agassi's approaches didn't. So, yeah, that's certainly going to be part of it. But there's a lot of the game. Again, it goes back to if you look at how many matches he's played or how few he's played, everything's an upside. Everything's like learning ability right now. You can't even imagine there's some things we've talked about that you think we've discussed a lot of, we haven't. And so there's plenty of things that he's almost new to him, and he's picking up quickly. He's a fast learner, but once he learns some of this stuff, his ranking is going to be just jumping up. So it's so much exciting things ahead for sure.
As coaches, I'm often fascinated by the learning process. Zach, what has made you such a good learner on the tennis court?
Yeah, I mean, I would always, how could I word this? Like a good learner and like on the court.
Yeah, on the court, or synthesizing concepts and implementing them pretty quickly, which you know, a lot of guys your age don't come to the net much, and you do. And I was very impressed with that. A lot of guys your age hit wicked passing shots, but don't quite get the lob. And I saw you hit 4 or 5 great lobs in the semis and the finals, and I see that as a strength. Tell us about how you are so open to learning at a young age.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When I was younger, even now too,
Yeah.
I would always be open to, especially when it's coming from my team, like Matt or my dad or someone. I would always be open to learning things. I would never think I don't have to do that. And even if I did think that, like I would always still try it, and I would always focus on that and practice. And then even off the court too, sleeping, I would always like think about it, you know, or whatever I'm doing. I always think about, okay, did I improve on this? Am I, you know, what could I do better that we talked about? So I think doing that in practice, and you know, try to take that into tournaments, which I'm still, you know, I haven't got a whole lot of match count yet. I haven't played a whole lot of matches, but that's what we were talking about. Just like once I could start doing all of that into tournaments, I think I could definitely climb up the rankings like a lot and much faster.
I certainly admire how open you have always been to taking that kind of instruction, whether it's tactical or technical. Matt, I'm sure you've worked with a counterexample where a kid might just feel like, no, I don't need that one, or I don't need this. I'm already good at that. And his growth mindset is clearly something that's taken him far. Matt, maybe you can talk a little bit about.
If I might just interject, sorry, one thing.
Please, yes.
He didn't mention though. I think Zach is he's quite humble, right? And so he doesn't have that cocky ego. Well, I know better than you. Yeah, he's competitive. He wants to win. He has that kind of going for him. But it's not, who the heck are you? And I've seen you the last 10 years. I've heard it before. Get out of here, kind of attitude, which you'd see with some of these prima donnas, right? And so Zach has stayed humble. Hopefully he'll always stay humble. You never know, but he's got really good foundations. He's shown he's going to be humble. So we're going to try and keep him in check forever. Because I don't care if he wins Wimbledon, he needs to stay humble, right? I mean, Rafa's still carrying his own bag, right? And so that's where I'm coming from. That's my old school. I know that's how his family is as well. So we're on the same page. So that's one of the reasons I think he still respects the people around him, because he has that just good kind of upbringing.
Excellent. I love the humility point. And you mentioned Rafa carries his bag. Rafa, Wawrinka, these are slam winners, and they brush their own courts after a practice. Absolutely. You know, and do the lines too. That is near and dear to our hearts. Yeah.
Rafa, do you think that you'd like to play Zach one day?
Well, Zach is very, very tough competitor. No, he gonna pass me with his backhand. He gonna pass me. He gonna love me. No, it's gonna be tough, but I gonna work hard. No.
That's good.
That's
I
pretty
warned
good,
you.
isn't
I warned you, Zach. I told you it was coming.
it?
I know.
He's always
Well,
set me
hey,
up for that.
You know, it's
Wow.
one of those things that I just got to know one thing, Zach.
Yes.
Who's the family champ? I know your dad was a pretty decent
That's
tennis
right.
player.
Tom or Zachary or the little brother who's pretty good.
Ooh, yeah, my little brother is catching up. He's gonna start playing more tournaments too. He's kind of doing the same route that I did, not too many tournaments, so he'll start it back up soon. But I don't know. He's coming along too.
He is. What's his name? I
Yeah.
think I saw him in
Trevor.
Trevor Svida. I saw him
Yeah.
right next to Matt at the ITF J4, was it, or J5 right here in McKinney, Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. He stays with Matt sometimes. He'll stay for a couple weeks at a time. And yeah, I mean he's serious too.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So when's the last time you played your dad? Just out of curiosity, a real match, like you played a set. Was it?
Ooh, probably I was like 12 years old or 13.
Still blaming he's got this bad wrist from when we used to hit the ball, Zach. Still,
I know.
that comes
He
out of the
always
woodwork.
talks
It's-
about his
yeah,
wrist.
It never ends.
Yeah, I know.
I hope he's listening to this as well.
I'm sure
I
he
know.
is.
Giving
Then
us-
when he beats me in a baseline game, he's like, "Oh, my wrist is fine."
Oh,
I
there's
know.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Baseline game. That's great.
I just want to see how
And,
humble he was. He's pretty
Yeah.
humble.
He's
Yes.
pretty humble. He's
Right.
very gracious about Trevor too. I like that. I love it.
Yeah.
Zach, do you ever get to not be a player, but to be a bit of a mentor or a coach to your younger brother?
Yeah, I tried to. I was actually talking to him about that a couple of days ago too, and I even said, if you need any advice or anything, and I just anything. Yeah, I try to help him out too, and to anybody too, just who watches me play, and I always try to help out other people. I don't like just doing it for myself. I don't like to be selfish out. I think, and I always sign autographs, whatever it is. Like
Yeah.
I'll always do that.
Matt, there's so much knowledge, love, and trust between you and the family. Do you ever get to coach Trevor?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think I just mentioned, Trevor gets sent over to me for weeks at a time. He's actually Trevor is my godson officially, even though
Yep.
I've worked with Zach for a lot longer. I haven't actually worked with Trevor as much because I moved here about 10 years ago now to McKinney from San Diego. So yeah, but certainly I'll help out Trevor and Zach, and if they have another child, I'll probably help out them as well whenever I can. I'll do whatever I need to do for the family. So, but Trevor's been brought up on the court from his dad. So his dad's put a lot of great hours in with Trevor, and he's going to be a good player. We don't know how good, how great. That's up to him, but he's on a good track. So he cracks the ball well. He's just got to get him a little fitter, faster around the court, and we'll see what happens.
Is he about 4 years younger than you, Zachary?
Yeah, 4. He's
So-
15.
So 15, and you just turned 19 a week or two.
Just turned 19. Yeah. like last
Congrats!
week.
Like Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah. A couple days
Yeah.
after Thanksgiving.
Oh,
yeah.
that's great. Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you. Thank
How did you celebrate your 19th? By getting an apartment in Los Angeles?
I mean, yeah, I'd say probably that. Yeah, what I do? Yeah, I didn't do much really. I was back home and try to get into my new place, just furniture and everything. It's a lot.
It is. It is. You're an adult. You're like doing all your own laundry. You're there, huh?
I know.
Training daily. Is it far from the place where you train down in Carson?
No, it's only like 15, 20 minutes, which is really helpful. And with the pricing too, it was good. And I was pretty much living in a hotel for the past year in Carson at the DoubleTree, and I just told my agent, I told Matt, everyone, like I need to change. Like I have to get a place, and everyone agreed with me, my parents, and thankfully the USTA is helping out too, which is very nice of them. And I think that will only just help my tennis. I'm only a week or two in. I just got done with the first week of the preseason, and so far it's going well. But
Well,
it definitely
good.
helps mentally.
Good transition to the second set where we get to talk about current and future projects. Matt, You get to work with guys this level and his younger brother, Trevor. Tell us about your current projects, of which I know there are many, and then we'll transition to Zach with his current and future projects.
Yeah, I mean, over the last several years, I've really transitioned from coaching tennis to overseeing a company now that's really growing and evolving in many ways, and certainly growing tennis because of it. My company's called Impact Activities, and we have 8 tennis centers throughout, 7 in Texas and 1 in Coronado Island in San Diego. And so we run these centers, and often we come in and we come in at a time where they've either been run down or someone's been moved out for whatever reasons. And so it's a bit like Kitchen Nightmares with Gordon Ramsay, right? You come into the kitchen and they're not always, the Ritz Carlton, and so you've got to kind of turn it around. We took over some Dallas facilities a couple of years ago, and there's a letter that went out just before we took over. They were thinking of closing them all just because they'd been run down so bad. So tennis really grown for us year over year. Really, it always seems to be growing in the right direction. So COVID's helped a little bit as well. We're building some indoor courts up in McKinney, which will be kind of the main public accessible indoor courts in this region. I know there are a couple scattered around, but to have 6 with some gym and aerobics rooms, it's just going to be phenomenal. You don't need to have that membership. It's not for the elites. It's for anybody, any kid that wants to come out and play when it's cold, snowing, or 110 degrees. So again, just continuing to be able to allow tennis to grow from the young to the old. I'm excited by that. Just trying to change the landscape a little bit. Just come in and do something maybe that hasn't been done. I'll be looking to take over more facilities if they're the right opportunities, and add indoor facilities to some of these as well. I think that's kind of lacking as well in Texas. Some, again, year-round programming. These kids stop playing often during the game, and then soccer eats them up, or baseball or whatever it is, and so we lose these kids to that, and no reasons for that. I mean, our facilities need to be better. If they can have world champions come out of Switzerland, and many of them, then they can certainly do that coming out of Texas. We just
Also, I mean, Switzerland, Scotland, Serbia, these are traditional hotbeds of tennis, like Spain and Florida and Italy and all. So I love that ambition. I love what you've done. My only wish is that we could have done, instead of Kitchen Nightmares, we could have had a British guy with tousled hair when the F word, and take footage of how bad things were, and then easy to get the footage of how good things are now, right?
But yeah, no, I swear a lot less than Ramsey.
Than Ramsey, which is it's not saying much.
I'm not saying I don't swear occasionally, but you got to motivate in the right way, and sometimes you got to be harsh about it. But it's going to be an exciting year for us for tennis, and who knows? Now we're doing pickleball, which Craig knows all about, and I'm not going to restrict our management to just that. Who knows if someone calls me up about running a recreation center or a golf course? I mean, I'll look at anything and everything. If I feel like I can bring some value in a positive way, and maybe leave it better than when I found it, I'm all for exploring.
Well, we love the name Impact Activities. Can you tell the folks at home, and we'll throw a link down too, but tell the folks at home how to find Impact Activities.
ImpactActivities.com. Simple as that. It's got all our facilities, pickleball and tennis, and we have a $17 a month membership. You can play at all our courts, unlimited. So again, access to everybody. So it's a good thing, I think, for tennis players.
Very reasonable, yeah. Zach, let's turn down to you. Maybe you can talk about your current and future projects, like your training block at the moment, and then what's next for you. Is it the Australian Open?
Oh, I wish. Hopefully next year. When my ranking, I gotta get my ranking up a little bit, but I'll be doing the preseason till mid-January, so I'll have a couple of weeks to work on specific things on and off court, and then we'll start. I think the first tournaments like mid-January or so in Columbus. So that'll be my first tournament, and we'll go from there. But my main goal is French Open for qualies. So I think you have to be around 250 ATP. So right now I'm like 370. So I think it's a good goal, and we'll go from there. I think it'll be a good year, especially with me just got my place too, and that helps mentally too, on and off court. And I'm excited.
Zach, that sounds great. You mentioned Columbus, Ohio, right? That's an ATP Challenger. Are you directly into the main draw, or are you playing the qualies for that?
I'm not sure yet. I'll know what the cut is coming up. Kind of tricky with my ranking. I'm not sure. The last tournament I played a couple weeks ago in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, I got into main draw there for the challenger, and then like the other one I got into quali. So it just really depends on the cut. But I just gotta keep winning, and then don't have to worry about like in the main draw for everything.
Absolutely good. And
Yeah.
Columbus, Ohio in January, that's definitely an indoor tournament. How do you get to train for the fast courts and the attacking tennis inside?
Yeah, that'll be a little tricky just because in Southern California, there's not one indoor place. So actually, Matt, I may have to hit you up. I may have to go to Dallas for a couple weeks to get ready for that.
I know a guy that's
Or
got
even
some
the
indoor
indoors
courts.
behind you. I know. Look right behind you. Yeah.
Good stuff. Let's talk midterm or longish term future. When you get the ranking up and you're able to get into slams and master series and all that, how are you attacking that? And what do you feel like are going to be your favorite places to go play?
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Australia, for, Australian Open, then Paris too. Like all the places, out of. I'm ready to get out of United States a little bit. I've never been out of the States besides one place, so I'm looking forward to all of that. And my main goal, is to be number one in the world. Just
Yeah.
go from there. But I'm excited for everything.
Zach,
Yeah.
we've seen you compete so hard and so well on hard courts. Tell us about how you see your future on grass and clay.
Yeah, that's something, especially next year, I'm going to start doing a lot more, especially the clay. I'm going to Europe, playing on the clay too. Um, I'm looking forward to everything and try to think positive. Um, I think I haven't really played much on clay, especially the red clay. So I'm excited for that. And I think it's good to switch it up, play indoors, hardcore, and then clay, then grass, and different balls, just everything, the climate, everything. So I'm
Your
looking forward.
Yeah, with your movement and your feel for the ball, I can see you being really, really great on both grass and clay. And when you go to Europe, you'll love it. They'll have no problem with your last name, huh?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
They'll love your last name. Well, fellas, good stuff on current and future projects. I want to allow Craig a few moments in case there are some questions from the gallery or some questions from Craig Bell before we go third set.
No, not at the moment. We do have some people watching. So
Yeah, we've got some elite coaches watching
Oh
too.
yeah,
Yeah,
say hello to
yeah,
everybody watching right now over on YouTube. We're over
yeah,
as opposed to Facebook. We'll post back over to Facebook. That's where you've been seeing me. I've been back and
yeah,
forth
yeah.
over working the dials on the live stream from Facebook and a couple different pages. But not at the moment. I'm gonna save my questions for the third
Well,
set or
Craig
segment.
Bell, who are we rolling with? Who's
Yeah.
sponsoring this third set?
Yeah, the third set is Blair Descaray with Master Systems. He's our buddy. He's a local guy that any of your court surfacing needs, products. Matt knows probably Blair. You've met him around? Yeah, he's a really good guy. He likes At the Net podcast, and we always like giving a shout out to our buddy Blair Descaray. So if you looking for any products, any type of tennis court surfacing, pickleball surfacing, whatever, look up Master Systems, and our good buddy Blair Descaray is the sponsor of the third
Well,
set. So
thanking him for
Yep.
sponsoring this third set. And Craig Bell, take it away, man. Let's have some fun with this third set with these
Okay.
guys.
You guys ready to let your hair down?
Let's do
Looks
it.
looks like Zach's. The first question I wanted to ask really in this third segment is, do you have any food in your refrigerator, Zach?
Yet?
I actually got some eggs. Yeah. But I need salt and pepper and all that stuff. I haven't done anything yet. But yeah, not much.
I was just thinking about that. I thought, well, a bachelor, somebody on their own, just moved into their apartment. Wonder if there's any beverages or?
I'm sure there's protein shakes,
Oh,
but
yeah, right.
the food's not quite there yet.
There is. Yeah. Food, not yet, but I do have my protein shakes up there. Yeah.
So we know Matt has his fully stocked fridge,
Stocked.
but you need to need to show your godson how to go to the grocery store and get some get some food and that kind of stuff. So, but
You know what they
yeah.
need to get when they go to the grocery store is get some scratch.
get some scratch. Oh yeah, that's what aisle's the scratch
Tom,
on?
Zach's dad,
Yes.
Tom, played college tennis with a good friend of ours, Georgie Schuldberg.
Yeah, yes,
And George had this hilarious story of being at Midland where your dad was.
with your dad.
And George, he wanted to cook something, and he's like,
Yeah.
all the good things like
Yeah.
pancakes,
Yeah.
like meatloaf, everything that's really good
Yeah.
is made from scratch. And I'd
Yeah.
like to buy
Mm.
scratch. Is there a
Right.
scratch aisle in this place?
Oh my gosh.
They loaded up the car. I mean, maybe your dad was. You have to ask your dad about that story. Maybe he was with George. I think he said that a couple of the guys they went over to the grocery store and they went over to the front desk and go, "Hey, what aisle's the scratch on?" And the people are like, "What?"
It's
Oh
made
my gosh.
made from scratch. So,
yeah.
so Zach, if you want a little dad joke here and there, you throw that out with your friends, right?
Right.
Oh yeah. I want
Right.
to talk to my dad about that. I
Yeah.
haven't heard that one.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
no.
guy's name is George
Schuldberg,
Schuldberg.
yeah.
Hilarious guy.
He's funny.
Exactly your dad's age and played like
Okay.
mid 50s, played college tennis in the early mid 80s like your dad.
Yeah. Out of Mid-
Okay.
Yeah. No, that was
Wow,
a funny.
I'm
that's
gonna
a
ask
great
him.
story. No,
And the story keeps getting more bombastic every time he tells it too.
embellished.
George has easily told us that story 5 times.
Oh yeah. No, it's funny. But then he did mention on the podcast a couple of podcasts ago
Yeah.
that your dad played with him. We're like, oh, wait a minute, go back. And we said, Tom Jvida.
Yeah,
played
we
with you
definitely
in
know that
Midland?"
name. Yeah.
We go. We're gonna
Oh yeah.
have his son, so we're gonna have to ask Zach about that. So yeah, ask your dad where the scratch aisle is just to make sure that.
I will. Okay.
I'm glad that
I need to
came
make
up.
something from scratch, Dad. Where's the scratch aisle?
It's just so much better when it's from scratch.
It was a funny story, and the way George tells it, he's got many stories also too about your dad and the times they had at Midland. So we'll save that for another podcast.
We will. That'll be the 4th set one day.
That's
Right
right.
now,
Right, here we go. All right, this is the first segment of the third set. We're going to do three segments, and then we start off with music. We sure know that probably these guys probably listen to some music. I would imagine that Zach probably listens to some music. Now AJ knows every band there is to know. Zach. So if you name a band, he's probably got the album. He knows all the people on it, who produced it, who wrote all the songs, and then Matt probably has some songs as well. Zach, have you seen a concert ever? Have you ever been to a concert?
I have. I've been to a couple concerts.
Okay, so
Yeah.
first concert that you went to, who'd you go see?
It was the Chainsmokers.
The Chain.
Chainsmokers,
know
I
them?
remember them. They played
You guys heard of them for sure, right?
big hits. They played
Really?
ACL a couple of years ago. I was there. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Austin.
Everybody loves them.
Wow. Where'd you see him at? Just out of curiosity.
It was actually here in San Diego,
Okay.
at San Diego State. They played at one of the stadiums they had. I think it was a football stadium or something. I'm
Yeah.
not sure, but that was a couple of years ago. But yeah, my type of music, I like EDM. So
Yeah.
I like Chainsmokers a lot. My all-time favorite is Kygo. I like listening to that before matches, and everyone's different. They have their own thing, but some people make fun over it about it. But I don't know. That's my type of music, EDM. But I also like a mix of everything, some rap, hip hop. But my all-time favorite is Kygo.
Kygo gets you pumped and focused, right?
Yeah.
I love
Oh,
that.
yeah.
It's a great feeling. Tell us about hip hop. Who do you like in hip hop these days?
Let's see, hip hop.
Like,
I mean, just whatever's on the radio. I mean, I don't know. It just depends. I mean, I like anything, just probably besides country. Anything besides country, I like.
I see you like
But
a fellow SoCal native, Logic. That guy is so quick, like you.
oh, Logic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like Logic too.
I don't know.
I've never seen him. I like to see him too.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it. That guy's crazy.
I call beat
Yeah.
on that. Have you heard of Logic, Matt?
I've heard of him. I can't pretend I would recognize him if he walked past me, but I've heard the name.
See, I told you he knows every band. I was like, Logic, what's EDM? What's that stand for?
Electronic dance music, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you know
Yeah.
that? Did you know that, Matt?
Absolutely, Craig. I'm still with it.
I'm still with it. I'm hip. I'm with it.
I'm cool.
Oh man, I'm out of it. I guess I'm out of it. Yeah. I know who Ed Sheeran is.
Yes, you do.
There
Yeah.
you go. Okay. Yeah.
Have you seen his new Christmas song with Elton John?
No, Ed Sheeran.
Sharon and Elton John. I heard
Yeah.
about it. I haven't seen the video.
The video looks pretty funny. It's just come out. So I've looked.
Good.
Number one in England right now. Which, by the way, was my first ever concert I went to. Was Elton John.
Elton John.
Elton John, you already answered. Was this
Yes,
back
where
in?
at?
Are you from Birmingham or Manchester? Which?
Birmingham, England.
Birmingham.
Ozzy Osbourne and the Cadbury Chocolate Factory and William Shakespeare. That's about it.
That's right, Shakespeare. I think of Stratford upon Avon.
Yeah, that area. I mean, it's right.
Yeah. Yeah, similar.
Billy Shakespeare.
Bill Shakespeare,
Wow, that's amazing.
not a bad writer.
We have somebody checking in. Arisha is checking in. Said looking good, fellas. So just wanted to throw that shout out.
Pass
over
that
there.
on to the
Yeah,
boys.
Yeah. So all right. So who's your favorite band? Zach. Who do you like? Logic. Is that your favorite guy, or did you
My
say
favorite's
Kygo?
Kygo.
Kygo?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
I know-
just a DJ.
Yeah.
I'm a band. I like Coldplay a lot. Yeah, I like some older stuff too. But yeah, I mean, just anything. I mean, I'm open to pretty much anything.
You like Lego? I know Lego.
Tycho Lego.
I had
know,
to throw
he's-
that out there.
he's
I'm
only-
an old guy.
And he's only 10 years removed from playing with Lego.
Right.
So that was actually a good joke.
That's
Well
pretty
done.
good.
Yeah.
I kind of tied the two together. Matt, what about you? Who's your favorite band? Who do you like?
Well, I'm going to test AJ here. Have you ever heard of a group called Stereophonics?
I know Stereophonics. I love it. Yeah, that's are they from
They're from England. I named my daughter after their last number one single because my uncle's in the band. He's the lead guitarist. So I like them anyway. He joined the band about 15 years ago, and obviously I like them even more now. But
wow, yeah.
yeah. So they're an amazing group. Big everywhere except here, pretty much.
I mean, they've toured here. And was it like 96, 97 they toured here?
Probably, but smaller venues. I mean, they've had 7 albums go to number one in the UK. I mean, it's a legit group. They just couldn't crack it in America for some reason. Not sure why, but I love them. They're great.
You need to be a producer for them.
Yeah.
Sounds like you said where there's opportunities out there. Maybe is it Stereophonics? did you say?
Stereophonics, yeah.
Stereophonics. Okay, I've never heard of them, but I'll have to look them up on the plate. Zach, have you heard of Stereophonics?
I have. Yeah. I don't know too much of their music, but I do. Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right. So this really tells a lot about the personality. We always like to ask this question. If you're in a band, maybe you've been in a band, maybe Matt, has been in a band, or Zach's thinking about going to and being in a band. What position would you be in the band? Would you be the lead singer? Would you be like the guitar player, piano player, drummer, glockenspiel player? See, I play a mean glockenspiel. There is such an instrument. There's a glockenspiel, and I'm very good at the glockenspiel. So where do you sit, Matt, in this this lineup? Are you a singer? Are you a front man? You seem
I honestly, I'd be very surprised if a tennis player answered it anything other than being the lead man. I mean, as we as tennis, we are the show. We are the light of everyone looking at us, right? The spotlight, and we are it. We control
Only you
the
could sing.
the entertainment being a tennis player. So I'd love to be able to rock a concert like a Freddie Mercury, because that would be like the ultimate one night dream.
Yep.
You can just put me under the ground after that. Wouldn't get much better than rocking Wembley, I think, as a lead man.
or what about Mick? Would you rather be Freddie or Mick?
I don't have the moves like Jagger, so I think Fred. I just prefer Queen's music personally, so we'll go with Queen.
That one documentary where Freddie Mercury, they're behind him and he's looking out over the Wembley Stadium and he's holding his hands up like that. I got chills. I was like, man, that would be unbelievable. And then he goes, hey, and then everybody starts.
The
going
crowd
back and
is
forth.
eating
Man.
him up. Yeah.
You got them right in the palm of your hand right there at that point. I mean, I think you're right, on that, Matt. I think that
Queen did that like no one else.
Yeah.
Queen brought their crowds into their music like no other group. So for me, a rock concert, that's the epitome of that.
Yep. What about you, Zach? Where are you sitting in the lineup?
Ooh, probably piano, just
Really?
because Kygo. I mean, the EDM, like the electronic piano. I like that type of stuff. And it may not be lead, but then if you're a DJ, I guess that's your lead part for the whole crowd. Yeah, I'd say probably piano, but like the electronic piano and the music and fireworks, whatever. It's controlling all of that. Just being a DJ. I don't know. I think it's really cool.
I think I said Coldplay. That's Chris Martin, I believe. He
Yep.
plays the mean piano. If I now I do know Coldplay, so I'm a little somewhat hip with you
Mhm.
guys, but because he plays the piano, I believe, and that's where
Yeah.
he sits is on the piano, and Elton John, same thing. You know, like Elton, he sits at
Yeah.
mostly,
Mm.
and I'm sure he plays some other instruments, but yeah, that would be fun to be able to tickle the ivories, every now and then. Do you play the
Oh
piano?
yeah.
Just out of curiosity, do you play any instruments?
No, I did a little bit of the guitar, then I stopped. But I would like to, get a guitar again or piano and just kind of learn some things, while I'm off the court. If I'm in a hotel at a tournament, if I'm done for the day, and yeah, I think it's good to do something like that.
Yeah, it's amazing
Yeah.
how many tennis players
Yeah.
pick up guitar or
Sure.
music in general. Yeah.
Yeah, like Johnny Mack plays a pretty good guitar. The Bryan
Oh
brothers.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Motsfield,
Brian Brothers.
Patrick
Yeah.
Cash, Brian Bros from
Yeah.
your part of the world.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Have you ever, I know you're just getting started in the game and pro tournaments and things like that. Are there some guys already out there that you know of that do music, at their at your all's level? Because we think of Johnny Mack or Bryan Brothers. They're kind of on the bigger tour, but you're just getting kind of cutting your teeth right now. Are there any
Mhm.
guys that play a good guitar, or have you heard anybody, do anything?
Um, let's see. I know like people in the top 100, but I'm
Yeah.
ranked around 370, so I don't really know too many people in the Challenger Tour.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely sure there's guys out there
Sure.
doing something. That's what I'm trying to look forward to, just trying to improve on, just try to like do something that that I can find enjoy, because it's definitely not reading books or something like that. I just don't enjoy doing that. So I think an instrument would be good, just when you're done for the day, if you have the whole day, just to do something. But yeah,
Thank
I don't really know too many people.
So you got some spare time. I mean, after you practice, and you're going to have a little bit of, and I'll ask that question on down the line. So, but we'll save that, Matt. So I want to know something. So we're going to go to the second set now. First paid gig. What was Matt Hanlon doing over in England? Back in the day, did you have a paper route? Did you sack groceries at the local, five and dime down the street? Did you?
How I made money? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, yeah. Did you have
Yeah,
it?
I mean, I've
did
always
it
been
well?
pretty money driven. All my family are pretty self-employed. They own their own business, so that's kind of our entrepreneurial mindset. So I would go around to my dad's factory workers and sell them candy bars from the Cadbury factory that my mom would buy at wholesale pricing because she had the inn, because my aunt worked there, so she would get it ridiculously cheap. I'd sell it, sometimes even make sandwiches for the workers and try and get a little bit of pocket money that way and save
Wow.
up for the latest Nintendo game or whatever it was at the time.
That's pretty entrepreneurial. I like
I
that.
like it.
Yeah. Candyman. You're a Candyman, huh?
Cadbury.
I've got a problem with chocolate still.
What's your favorite? Are you more like the American sweeter version? I know the Europeans have a different taste for chocolate.
Yeah, no, it's certainly the English, the Swiss chocolate. Those would be my top two choices. Yeah.
More that dark chocolate that's not. 'Cause I was watching something on making candy.
Mhm.
Believe it or not, most Europeans don't like our candy. Chocolate. I should say chocolate, as opposed to I think they find it too sweet. Basically, if they were
Yeah,
doing.
I mean, I think yeah, there's more preservatives and additives in it over here. Obviously, transporting it across the country, you got different temperatures, so you don't want it to melt in the truck. So probably that's why I would guess Europe's pretty chilled, so you can keep the chocolate fresher and less chemicals in it. Maybe I don't know, but it seems to taste a little less sweet over there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I prefer that.
Yeah. What about you, Zach? Have you had a paid gig yet besides playing tennis? You're cashing checks playing tennis. Is that your first job basically, or did you have a little grass mowing in California, or did you
Let's
throw some?
see.
Can
I
you hit
did.
with people?
Yeah, I used to hit with people when I was younger, and like you do like a hitting session for an hour. Or
Yep.
I remember some of my dad's lessons because he teaches tennis. We would play doubles on every Friday, and they would pay Trevor, my brother, and me like $40 every Friday just to play doubles with them. And when we were like 10, 11 years old, we did that for a couple of years. That was funny, but I mean, yeah, I used to hit with some people now. That I'm older, I don't do that anymore. But I never really had a job. If you
That
said
is a
this is my job now.
No, that's
This is my job now. Yeah.
no. I mean, hitting with people like that, playing a little customer tennis. That's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that. So you
Mhm.
already you're learning the entrepreneurship that Matt Hanlon had instilled over there at the candy factory. Does he ever sell you any candy? Does he try to sell you any Cadbury?
Oh, I wish he did. He's very stingy with that. He loves the
Pick
chocolate.
your words carefully, Zach.
Right.
Yeah. I remember when I was like 5, 6 years old after practice, I would go to Matt's house here in San Diego, and he would every time he would have a full bowl of the Hershey Kisses right when you walk in, and I would always take a handful, and he would always get so mad. He would be like, "Oh."
I would leave the bad chocolate out on display. The good stuff was hidden.
Yeah, I know. And even till this day, like when I go to his house to practice with him, like there's always chocolate somewhere. I
Somewhere.
always see it somewhere. Yeah,
No,
always.
even if it's under the cone on the court in the corners.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
always. It's just somewhere. Yeah, he loves the chocolate.
Well, Nick Smith, one of our viewers, he's saying the cocoa level matters, I guess. So Nick, from
The level of cocoa.
is
Yeah.
what changes between, I guess, European and English and American and all that different chocolate. So yeah, so it's the cocoa. So thank you, Nick. Appreciate that, fellow tennis pro from around the area.
Yeah.
All right, so next question. So I'm interested. Actually, Zach, I'm really interested. What's over your right shoulder? Is there something that looked like there's something over your right shoulder, like a little?
My
There, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh yeah, my mom put that up.
Oh,
I
okay.
have no idea.
It's a little
but
it's a little nativity set with
Yeah.
a giant Mickey.
Right. Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
I have no idea. I just got home yesterday. So
Uh-huh.
I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, we just put up the tree a couple of days ago. My mom did. And I don't know. She likes the decorations. So, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, that's cool. I just thought that looks
Mm.
like somebody back there, and I just thought, I wonder what that is. All right, favorite
No.
favorite movie, TV shows. Do you guys watch Netflix? What do you Hulu, Roku, YouTube? What are you watching there, Matt Hanlon, these days?
Well, I'm going to a shameless plug for Birmingham, Peaky Blinders. If you haven't seen
Oh,
that show,
Mm.
it's a quality all-round show. It's not for kids if you're listening, but well written, well acted. Cinematography is awesome, and it's set in my hometown, and there's still those pubs there today. So it's pretty cool to watch from a local's point of view. So I'm looking forward to the next and last series coming out here soon. Movies, some of my favorites, classics, the Gladiator, Braveheart, Shawshank Redemption, Anchorman. A good mix of kind of mindless, just zoning out at the end of the night. That's my kind of movie.
What about you, Zach?
My favorite TV shows. I like The Office a lot. I even have like a Dunder
British or
Mifflin
American?
hoodie.
Yeah,
That's
there's
right. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go American. that one.
Have I taught you
I wasn't
nothing?
a fan. I tried watching the British one, but I don't know. I just like the American one better. Yeah, that's definitely my favorite. I really like Breaking Bad too. I got into that the past couple months. That's a good show. Yeah, I'm open to watching anything. I like Friends a lot too. Narcos is good. Yeah, I'm starting to watch more Netflix. And then for movies, that's tricky. I don't know if I have a favorite movie. I like Harry Potter.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good series. That's like 8 or 9 movies. What else? There's some good. Wolf of Wall Street's funny. That one's good. Yeah, there's.
Have you
I
seen
don't
King Richard yet?
No, I haven't. I don't think so.
See it. Good.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I've seen the live version.
But-
It's been going on for a while.
with Rick, Rick Macy
No,
himself.
the live version is,
Yeah.
we see it on TV.
The
all
real
time.
deal.
Yeah, right. No, I've heard it's really good. I've heard it's, I've not seen it either. And I heard it's a good watch. Now, Zach, are you a binge watcher? Where you sit down and watch 4 or 5 episodes of something, or you try to watch the whole series, or do you just like to consume like one thing at a time for a couple hours?
Usually I'm not like I don't watch, back to back to back, but actually with Breaking Bad, I was watching like 4 to 5, 6 a day at times. I remember at Kalamazoo too this year, like after my match, or even it was probably not the best thing to do, but even before my match, like before I would warm up, I would watch it for like 2 hours, like at the site. It was so funny. But yeah, Breaking Bad, I've done that, but other than that, I don't do that.
So if you like Breaking Bad, do you watch Better Call Saul?
No, I do want to see that. Yeah.
I knew about that one.
You
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
You're
I've
good.
heard
Saul
about it.
Goodman. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I knew those were kind of similar. I hadn't I have not watched either series myself, but I won't tell you what I watch. It's disappointing. So I'll move on. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner? What do we like? What do you guys like? Matthew, what do you like? Breakfast, lunch, dinner. What do you?
Well, I usually do what the new generation call fasting.
Mhm.
That just means skipping breakfast, I think. So I usually skip breakfast, even though on a weekend I like a good brunch. And then yeah, I just used to having proper dinners. Old school, good old fashioned hot dinner is the way to end the day, even though it's probably not the best way to do it for calorie counting and all that stuff. But yeah, dinner's probably my go-to favorite.
How about you, Zach?
Yeah, I'd say dinner too. I like a nice steak with, or steak or pasta. I like a lot of that. I do have to get better at eating my veggies. As Matt
Tell them what
knows.
you like in Texas.
Oh, Hutchins. Have you guys been to Hutchins?
Oh,
Up in
yes.
McKinney,
There we
yeah.
go. Now you're talking our language.
Yeah,
That's
Texas
like
barbecue.
that's like my favorite barbecue. Like I haven't had better barbecue. Like I love barbecue and
World
that's still my
famous, and
favorite.
it's like 10 minutes up the road. It's amazing.
Oh yeah. Now we got a few other places. Next time you come around, I know Matt's got some favorites. We got some favorites around as well. So we'll buy you barbecue.
Okay.
We'll take you.
All right.
Besides Hutchins, we want to treat you next time you're around.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. Yeah.
all right. Now speaking of a dinner party, I call this a soiree or maybe a shindig, hoedown. I've heard that in Oklahoma. So I'm from Oklahoma, so we're not very refined, but we're gonna have this. You're gonna have this dinner party or this soiree shindig, and you could invite some dinner guests. And we know AJ and I would be on on the list, but we'd like to know who you guys would invite. And it can be anybody from the Harry Potter series to you know um, people in the sporting world, no sporting world. We've had some really interesting people that it can be as many as you want. I usually say four people at least. Or if you just have a couple. And you can invite your parents. We understand that they'll be invited, all grandparents, that kind of thing. But we just like to see who maybe might hit the table, with Zach and Matt. What do you think, Matt?
Let's see. I would start off with, it can be dead or alive, yeah?
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. Churchill. I
Who?
mean,
Oh, Churchill.
Winston Churchill, yes.
I
Yes.
think from a leadership point of view, as a Brit, I mean, you hear his stories growing up, and you
Mhm.
continue to do so. So, leading a country through what he went through, is
Yep.
pretty impressive. So, been to his museum in London, so big admiration for what he did. I would say this guy behind me, the
Roger
goat.
Federer.
Yes. Yes.
I'm just a big fan of how he conducts himself as an athlete, as a person, regardless of whether he goes down as the greatest. Is for me the person I most admire from tennis players. 3, I would go Richard Branson from an entrepreneurial standpoint. He has broken into so many different industries and become billion-dollar companies within these industries more so than anyone else. So that takes a lot of guts, and so I really respect the way he's gone about that. I've read all his biographies, so big fan of Branson. And then I'd probably throw Ricky Gervais in just to throw a little humor in the conversation, because
Oh, wow.
I'm not going to be the funny guy at the table, that's for sure. So I want him and his dry humor, and maybe insulting a few people along the way, like he does at the Globe. So those would be my 4 choices. I think it'd be a hell of a dinner.
I
Yeah.
think all incredible choices, especially David Brent. That guy, Gervais, that guy is just the greatest.
Absolutely.
You'd give him two pints, and he would slip into character, wouldn't he?
Absolutely. Yeah, you couldn't stop him from having his pints.
What about your fellow Brit, Andy Murray? Would you want Andy Murray there?
What he's done under the pressure that the Brits put him under, especially the media, yeah, I'm just blown away with how he's handled himself. But I don't think he's that exciting of a guy behind the scenes, from what I've heard. I think he's very reserved, which is fine. But we're talking about a dinner conversation and all that. I'm going to stick with my Roger Federer pick on that one.
Andy, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, it's great, Matt. I've been helping out some charities back home in the UK, insomnia charities. Evidently, my voice has been really great for people getting to sleep. So yeah, I'm sad I'm not coming to your house for dinner, but next time, mate. Yeah.
Good, man. Congrats on your role in Braveheart. You're doing great.
All right, Zach. What about you, Zach? Who you inviting over at the table?
Definitely you guys.
Oh, come on, that was a little.
That was easy.
Yeah,
You,
I know.
you mentioned free barbecue. Look what he does.
Oh,
That's
right.
what
I
he
know, right?
He's sucking up to
If
us
it's free
already.
barbecue. Oh yeah, definitely.
I didn't teach him that.
First, what Matt said, I'm gonna have to say Roger Federer, just because he's obviously my idol growing up too. And then I got to practice with him too many times, and then we also got to speak like in person too after practice, and we've got lunch before, like after the practice, U.S. Open, and it's just I would love to have him there. Just I'm gonna have to say Kygo too. I don't know. I'm more younger, so it's not gonna be like old school like Matt.
Wow.
You're near the bus, Matt. Come on.
Sorry, Matt.
We don't want to go back and forth here, Zach. You just have to.
I know. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Kygo. I don't know. I would love to meet him one day. I just like his music, and then probably Michael Scott from The Office.
Oh.
The guy. Yeah, I think that would be a great dinner.
You
with
want
all
Michael
three of
Scott
us.
or Steve Carell?
Oh, Steve Carell.
Yeah.
Right.
Steve Carell.
Okay.
Yeah.
You need one of those shirts, Dundee Mifflin.
Dunder Mifflin, right?
I know.
He has one.
Oh, he has
You've
one.
I
got
have one.
Oh,
I
okay.
got one. Yeah.
Zach, I actually have one too, and there's a cool
you do?
pub right by where I live, right by my. Oh, is Zach gone?
Uh-oh. Lost him for a second. He'll
They
be back.
do. This pub does these. What do they call it? Pop-ups for about a month, and one of them was The Office, and everybody comes dressed as a warehouse worker
Oh, really?
or
Yeah.
one of the characters
One of
from
the characters from the
from
office.
The Office. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a T-shirt from
Dundee
them,
Mifflin.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a
There
fun.
you go, inspired by Ricky.
Ricky Gervais. There's one of our guests.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm excited in case Michael Scott and David Brent are at the same dinner party. We got to combine these
Yeah.
two.
So we'll get Zach back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ricky paired him up pretty good.
Yeah.
Good.
Have you seen the Golden Globes where Ricky's announcing it? Oh, he's
The
He's
best.
funny. He's ruthless. He's
The
like Billy
best.
Crystal. He's kind of like, Billy Crystal was a good host, and I think Ricky Gervais is
I mean,
also-
this guy went caustic and made fun of all of Hollywood, and it was awesome. I'm so respectful of what he did.
And they called him back to do it again and again, so they must have loved it.
Somehow he didn't get canceled after that, huh?
Yeah, I know. He doesn't care though. That's the whole thing.
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's
There, you guys there?
Zach. You're back.
He's
Good.
back.
Good.
There we go. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, that's all right.
So we'll get David Brent and Michael Scott at the same dinner with all this. This is a
Oh yeah.
group, and Winston
Pretty
Churchill.
awesome.
This is a great group.
he likes to walk softly and carry the big stick. That's what
That's
I've heard.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, also too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is it? Oh,
Teddy and
okay.
Winston.
Okay, I'm from Oklahoma, so I get confused.
Teddy
easily.
is our
I got hit in the head.
Teddy is our Winston Churchill.
I got hit in the head early, early on. It kind of wires get crossed up there. All right, so here's a good question: East Coast, West Coast. Now, Matt, you can also say East Coast, West Coast in England as well, because we usually ask about the U.S. East Coast, West Coast, but you could also answer East Coast, West Coast in England as well. So Zach, we'll start with you this time. Zach, East Coast, West Coast.
I'm just going with West Coast, where I am. I don't know. I think weather, everything. California. I don't want to leave it. I think that has everything here, and we'll see when I'm older. But yeah,
You like it where you are right now pretty well.
I do. Yeah.
Matt, what about you?
You're setting me up to discriminate against half the world here, so I'm not sure if you let it go. I
Right.
mean, hopefully, I'm not getting too much hate mail by choosing one or the other. I spent a lot of time, in California, San Diego. I love it. I have a place out there, and so there's no-
Also Seattle in the Pacific Northwest.
right, yeah. So I know a lot of kind of the West Coast. I love all that coastline pretty much that I visited. I haven't spent as much time on the East Coast of the US where I've been. I've liked, but the weather might be a little rougher over there generally. But does Florida count as East Coast?
Sure
Yeah,
does.
sure
Yes.
does. Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, I mean Florida, and then England's over there. I'll say in the middle, Texas, right there, down the middle.
Love it.
Both worlds.
Great answer, man.
Bring on the hate mail now.
Bring it.
That's Matt at impactsports.com. So if you mountains or beach, mountains or beach. Zach, what do you think? Mountains or beach? Zachary, mountains or you mountain guy or beach guy?
Beach guy. Yeah, I'm gonna say beach. I like going to the beach. I'm actually gonna try surfing. I'm gonna start picking that up a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna say beach. I don't know. I just like it better.
Now,
I grew up to it
you grew
too.
up on the beach? Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you like the like a little warmer beach weather? Like if you go down south like to Cabo, or even around that San Diego, I know you have to wear some wetsuits, occasionally because the water's a little chilly in the Pacific.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely more chillier here. Yeah, when I was in Mexico a couple weeks ago, Puerto Vallarta, the water was really warm and it felt so nice. Yeah, here, even in the summer, it gets cold. Like even when in LA, when it's like 90 or 100, like the water's still pretty cold.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm just more of a beach guy. I grew up around it my whole life, and then now that I just moved to Hermosa Beach, I'm like 2 blocks from the beach too. So yeah, I'm gonna say beach guy.
That's not bad. What about you, Mr. Hanlon?
Yeah, next week actually, that's what's kind of unique about California. I'm going to be on the beach, and then I'm going skiing in the same within 2 hours drive, and then back to the beach the next day. It's incredible. So there's a place called Big Bear, 2.5 hours from San Diego, and literally I've gone skiing there. And that afternoon I drove down to Indian Wells, watched the tennis, and it was a 90-degree sunbathing. It's such a bizarre climate. It's unique. I'm not sure anywhere else in the world you can do that. Certainly can't do that in Europe, but I think it's nice to go to the mountains and skiing and be cold, but certainly I prefer being warmer over a longer period of a vacation. So
Yeah, your friends back in Birmingham would get a kick out of hearing that. I hope they, when they listen, they'll be like, "That Matt, he's got it, man."
it's surreal. It's you can't. It's such a unique experience to go from snow to sun in the same day. It's weird. I love it.
Because can't you see from like down in LA, you can see the snow up in the mountains, right? Is that correct?
LA,
Yeah.
I'm not sure about LA. Can
LA
you?
or maybe
Yeah, I don't know about LA, but certainly the San Diego area, you can. Yeah.
you can't.
You,
Okay.
you'd
so
have to have a very clear day, Zach. Hopefully, you get a couple.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I know. LA could be very like smoggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of traffic I've heard too. A little traffic out there. Oompa
Yeah, a lot of traffic. Yeah.
Sunrise, sunset. What do you guys like? Are you a sunrise person in the morning? You guys, looking at that sun coming up, or like coming down over that west coast? Boy, I think that'd be awesome. What do you think?
Let's see. I'm gonna have to go probably sunrise. I'm a morning person, so I'm used to waking up early, getting ready for practice and starting off the day. So I'm gonna have to go with sunrise. But then also after a long day, especially when it's productive, seeing that sunset's nice too. But I'm gonna have to go sunrise just to start off the day.
Yep. What about you, Mr. Matt?
Yeah, is there many things better than a great meal with a glass of wine with the sun going down in the background of the ocean? I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, does it? Good company. I mean, that's what it's all about. As long as you've had a productive day beforehand. But then again, you have the sunrise. That's the symbol of starting a new day. So I don't know. I'm torn again. Let's go right down the middle.
All right. What's your all's favorite season? Do y'all like winter time? Maybe the spring, summer, fall. What do you think, Zach? What's your favorite season?
They don't have seasons, do they?
They don't have seasons.
I know. We literally don't. Especially, yeah. I'm gonna say winter though. I like not really so much for tennis, but that's when the like off season, at least for November, December. But I like the winter. I like the cold, and I don't know. I like when it gets dark early too, and just I like Christmas. That's my favorite time. But it is tougher for tennis. I prefer the heat, especially the summer for tennis. But just as off court, I like the winter.
What about you, Matt?
California summers, Texas falls or springs. I mean, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm a total summer guy myself, and I'm at the beach. I should have lived in Hawaii. I don't know why I live here in Texas, but I love Texas. Trust me. But I should have been over in Maui. That would have been a pretty nice gig. So if you open up an Impact over in Maui, I'll,
All right. Does your GM know that you're applying for a position online in public right now?
You got to, yeah. You be careful what you ask for. It may happen.
Yeah, he
DM me privately, Craigslist.
probably- What's your all's favorite holiday? We're coming into Christmas right now. A lot of people have said Christmas. Zach, you like Christmas? You like Thanksgiving? 4th of July? What's your favorite holiday?
Christmas for me, and like I said, I like the winter too, and that's Christmas is definitely a big part of it. Yeah, I like Christmas. I like the lights, just everything, the music too. I like giving, to my parents or my brother, just friends, family. I just like it.
What about you, Matt?
Not sure. Thinking about it.
Nice.
I would say that's probably a vote for Christmas, wouldn't you say?
I would say so.
Hold on. Let's do it right. Do it right.
There we go.
Oh, right.
The naughty part. Roger and Serena get to see that part.
Right.
It's on the back of the.
In England, we don't have a ton of different holidays. We have a couple, not quite as many as here, but Christmas is always the big one.
Yeah.
So, growing up and being inside during the cold, doing some family games and stuff, it's the best time of the year for me. So.
Love it.
So I thought, do you prefer the colder kind of English Christmas or maybe the San Diego Christmas that might be a little warmer? Because you've experienced both. Just had that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't go down the middle. No down the middle. You
No,
got
I suppose for a short period, if I know I'm going to visit for a week, it's great. But you don't want to be there for the 2 or 3 months before and after it. So for Christmas period, yes, I like it when it's cold and snowy. Like a New York Christmas would be phenomenal.
The best.
Because you can wrap up and you can wear silly big furry hats. So,
All right. Now we're circling back to what do you like to do in your spare time? Zach, what do you like to do in your spare time?
I always like to be active, like after practice or after match too. I don't really like being in a hotel room or for the whole day. So I always like being outside, and I do like shopping for clothes or whatever it is. And I like going to the beach too, or just spending time with friends. Yeah, like when I'm done with everything, like practice and gym, just everything tennis wise comes first. And then if I know it was productive and like I can enjoy my time off the court too. So I like, being active outside.
So now you're a bachelor and have your own place. You're going to get into cooking a little bit, maybe? You're going to try to, instead of hitting the top ramen and mac and cheese?
I know, I'll try for sure. But that means I have to clean it too, which sucks, but it's fine. I have to do the dishes and all that. But no, yeah, I'll definitely get into that. And I do want to learn. It'll save some money too. So yeah, I'll get into it.
Maybe cook some good barbecue. You can learn how to cook barbecue. That's
Oh yeah, nothing will be like Hutchins. For sure.
my mouth's watering. I'm going to go back to Hutchins maybe tomorrow. Golly. Matt, what do you like to do in your spare time?
Same kind of concept, just active outdoors. I play a little golf. I started at the beginning of COVID. I started martial arts a little bit. Now I do that once a week with a trainer that kicks my butt, literally. Just being out, being social. I got 2 kids that I have half the time, which keep me running around as well. So they're a lot of fun, but I certainly have to keep fit with them. So I work out usually every day as well. So try and keep my energy up for them. So yeah, just staying busy.
Yep. How old are your kids again? I knew
My daughter's 11, my son's 7.
that's what I was thinking, somewhere around that age. So yeah, you're in an active age right there. So you're right in the thick of things.
Yep.
All right, let's move this over to the third set. So we're rolling back around the corner here and bringing it back towards tennis. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. So what's your favorite shot? I've never asked this question before. This is the first one. It just came up into my mind as we were thinking here. Zach, what's your favorite shot in tennis? Forehand, backhand, volleys, return?
I think I said it earlier, but my backhand down the line is my favorite shot. That's definitely my main shot too, that like I trust all the time, even under pressure or anything, where sometimes my forehand, I don't trust it as much, but I know my backhand, like even on an off day, I feel like my backhand line is always there if I'm in the right position to hitting it.
I heard that through the grapevine, maybe I was thinking your serve. You might say your serve because you you cracked the serve like at 132 at the U.S. Open. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's definitely come along too the past 6, 7 months. Still, my backhand is my favorite shot, but I do like my serve too, especially my first serve, and I'm starting to get more free points off of it too, which helps. It helps a ton.
So I'm thinking, you didn't play really any other sports. So how'd you get such a live arm? Because did you say you're 5'9" now and you weigh how much?
5'9", 145. I'd
Wow.
say I did play baseball
Mhm.
when I was younger, but up until 9 or 10, then I picked tennis. But
That's a huge serve
I,
for 5'9". I mean, that's your body efficient at 132, cracking the serve. I mean, that's you know, that's not downhill with the wind behind your back like AJ and I would have to do that.
Good
yeah, I
technique,
mean,
good timing.
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I do a lot of things off the court too for my shoulder and just try to keep it as loose as possible. And I think with the technique too, not having it so stiff, and I really relax my arm on the serve. And I don't know. I can't hit 132 all the time, but yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty darn impressive. I was sitting there thinking, I saw that and heard that, and I was like, wow, 132. That's a. I
That's a
don't think you
gun.
did
That's
that.
a
You
whip.
didn't do that in Austin when we were playing, or when you were,
no, I don't think so.
last year against Hottie. I remember that match against Hottie
Yeah,
Habib. I mean, and you could have
mhm,
been tired. I mean, gosh, you were in the finals. I mean, that was you'd played some big matches, and I just don't
yeah,
remember your serve being quite that big. But 132, wow, that's darn impressive for 5'9". That's and a guy that weighs a buck 40, buck 45. I mean, that's pound for pound. That's better than the guys who like an Isner hitting 140 or something like that.
Yeah.
You're not too far
right.
behind him. He's
Yeah,
6'11". He's basically a foot
He's a
taller.
foot taller than you, a
I
foot and
know.
an inch
Wow.
or two. Yeah.
Right. So,
Jeez.
but Matt, what about you? What's your favorite shot? What's your money? What do you go for? What's your money
My
ball?
favorite shot is not necessarily planned. It's when I'm rallying with Zach back in the backhand in the baseline point, and I hit it late, and it just goes down the line, but it has that side spin on it as well, right? It's not even
He
like
loves
it
that.
just it swerves away from him.
Not this, but this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Just a total, and he can't get to it because it's not planned, but I pretend it is, and that's it. Our baseline games last to 3, not to 11, because that's overrated. We have short and sweet ones, and that's see who's best under pressure. Let's go.
Yeah. Get right to
I
the.
didn't have that shot until college, and the down line, have a one-hander up the line. Everyone's always nudging over to expect your backhand to go cross court, right? So if you can pull that trigger earlier in the rally and get ahead in the point, that usually pays dividends, right? So a one-hander down the line was something I worked on a lot, and was pretty pleased when I could pull that off. So
Yeah.
So what do you all like string wise in your racket? Like Zach, are you using like gut? Do you use gut poly? Do you use a poly? Do you use synthetic? What do you use in your racket? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I use poly in both ways, mains and crosses, and I've always done that. I used to play with gut actually when I was younger, but now I've been using poly for many years, and I use Technofiber, so the Technofiber strings, which I like. Um, but yeah, I've been with poly, and I think that will always stay poly. Maybe I'll do a gut with poly,
Yeah.
but for now, I'll just stick with poly both ways.
Zach, you mentioned Technofiber. Do you use the same or a similar racket to what Daniel Medvedev uses?
I think it's pretty similar. Yeah, I know we both customize our specs, and I think it's the same racket. I could be wrong, but I know it's the same model of the racket. But yeah, definitely our specs are a little bit different from each other. But yeah, same model.
I know his is really, really heavy. And I thought maybe Zach's is fairly heavy to get that beautiful serve going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not too heavy. Yeah,
But
I did up it a
heavier,
little bit.
heavier than
But
stock,
yeah,
I'm sure.
yeah.
No.
Interesting. Now, how tight do you string? Just out of curiosity, you string it fairly in the middle, on the lower end, or on the higher end?
It depends, like where I'm playing, how the weather is, and with the balls too. But usually, right now I'm at 54
Mhm.
pounds both way. But I remember at like Indian Wells this year, I strung it at because the conditions were so slow. So I did string it a little bit looser because it wasn't that hot at all. I played a night match, and yeah, so it just depends where like where I am, how the weather is, and certain things.
Do you, gosh, well, that one just went out the door. I had a point. I was going right with it, and it just went. One of those days. Hey, uh, also, I had heard through the grapevine that you use the same face of the racket on both shots, forehand and backhand.
This
Is that
side
correct?
and then this
I
side.
do.
Yeah.
Actually, every shot besides the backhand volley. So, and if I have time, I'll try to switch it. It's
You'll
really
switch
weird
it. Go.
if I have time, but I know just closing my eyes and if I just swing a forehand, I know which side of the racket. I know Matt, you don't like it, but I've just been doing that for the past couple of years, and I
Is
just
that out
been
of
used to it.
Is that out of habit, or is that because it's a ritual, or is it just something you started doing?
I don't know. I just started doing it, and then now I always have to play on the upside, like every shot, serve, slice, backhand, forehand, everything.
Would you call that being superstitious or just a little stitious?
That's probably really stitious, but now it's at the point like I can't change it back because like it just feels way too weird. Yeah.
But now I know what that question was. I was going back to. So, do you change your rackets out like a lot of the pros do when the ball changes, or after what, nine and 11 games? I'm thinking
7 and 9, right?
7 and 9. There we go.
Yeah.
Do you change your rackets every time, or do you just play with it until you kind of feel like, this is when it hitting good backhands down the line, so I'm gonna go toss this one.
No. Yeah, no, I do change every ball change with the
Okay.
rackets, just because with the new balls and the strings are, loose after 7 games. They're a little bit looser than the newer rackets. So yeah, after every ball change, I switch
Okay.
rackets.
Yeah, like I said, I was thinking, that back before that the question about the same face of the racket. So you carry how many rackets in your bag in a match? Maybe 10, 18?
Usually, not 10. I'd probably say like 6 to 8.
Okay.
Yeah, just depends. Like if I'm getting ready for like 3 out of 5 at US Open, then yeah, I'll probably have a little bit more with me. But if I'm at a challenger, maybe 6 or so. Yeah.
Interesting. Like, we back in my day, you just played. You just had one. And you just kind of like, it's getting a little loose. I better go over and check that
Right.
check
Yeah.
that out. But it's I knew that. I think, was it Lindell that started doing that way back in the 80s, when I seemed like that.
Such a meticulous professional.
Yeah.
He would even he used gut, and he would even like get a guy to hit with it for a half hour before he hit with it, and
Oh,
then
really?
he'd do the 7 and 9 games.
No
Crazy.
kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
Even in practice too. I heard
The
even
godfather of all
Yeah.
that OCD
right.
stuff that we see on the tour that makes a little difference. So
Yeah.
well done.
Yeah, Matt, do you do that with? Do you have about 6 or 8 rackets when you go out on the court and play?
I just walk through my pro shop and whatever rackets are in the demo section, I grab a couple, usually based on the color of the grip, and matching my shoes. If it's a
Yeah.
nice white grip, I'll go with that. I'm old school. I've always been. I don't want to be. I didn't want to be dependent on something, because I always thought, well, what if I lose my vibration dampener, or what if the tension gets messed up on the plane and I got to play a match. So I was always like, okay, I'll just try and figure out what I've got and how to play with it. So that's not necessarily the right way to be. That's just how I was. So if I go out and hit or coach, I just grab whatever and just learn to adapt. Otherwise, I'm not good enough then, am I? Learn to use it. Just old school.
Indoor tennis or outdoor
Oh.
tennis? What do you guys like to do? Do you like indoor tennis or outdoor tennis? I'm thinking Zach probably hadn't played too many indoor matches, but indoor, outdoor. Matt, we'll go with you first, because I know you played up in Washington. Do you guys?
Yeah, we hosted the indoor national championships up there. I mean, it's a beautiful facility, so spent a lot of time indoors. But yeah, I think I like the elements. I think it adds to the game. It adds to the physicality of it, which goes back to what I was saying my game style was. So I will say outdoor tennis generally, but for business, I like indoor tennis.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's good.
What about you, Zach?
Yeah, I like outdoor. I haven't played too much indoor tournaments, just also with in California here, there's no indoor tournaments either, or any practice either. But I'm used to outdoor tennis, and that's what I practice every day in. So I'm gonna have to say outdoor, but I had played indoor too, and I like it. You know, it's definitely much quicker conditions, and I like it too because you don't have to worry about the wind. You don't have to worry about anything. Like it's perfect indoors always. But I'm just so used to outdoors, and I've had some good results on it. So I'm gonna have to say outdoors.
We had the Dallas Open coming up. Maybe they might.
I know.
Indoor
I hope I could be
250.
there for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Would love, yeah. I hope you get the qualities of that, and let's go.
Yeah, early
I
February.
hope so too.
Yeah.
I know.
We'll push. We'll start a campaign right now. So
Oh yeah, let's do it.
AJ knows the tournament director pretty well.
Yeah,
So we're gonna rely heavily upon this guy right here to get you in.
I'll suggest it. Yes.
All right.
Favorite tournament. Favorite tournament. What's your all's favorite tournament? And it could be one you played just recently, or maybe it could be Wimbledon, or what's your favorite tournament, Matt?
I think you could guess that one. I mean, growing up as a kid, you fall in love with tennis and summers in England and going around to the grass courts and watching people play at the clubs, and then going to the mecca of tennis, right? Wimbledon, and the hallowed grounds and the all whites, and just the quiet nothingness before someone hits that first tennis ball. I mean, that for me was what it was all about. That's what got me into the game. So I just, I'm biased, and so be it. Wimbledon is kind of where it's at for me. But I told you, I didn't play Australia. I've heard great things about that. So just from a spectator's view or a visitor's view, Wimbledon's my favorite.
Did you all ever hear this song? So I'll do that again. Start. You ever heard that song? That's the Wimbledon opening theme at breakfast at Wimbledon here in the United
Here in the
States.
States, NBC Wimbledon. So
That's how
a little,
every morning.
little bit before your time,
Zach,
Zach, and Matt heard the British version on the BBC. But this song makes us emotional every time. This gets me
I get
every
the
time.
chills. Yeah. No, this is Dick Enberg and the great Bud Collins.
Yes.
So they were at breakfast at Wimbledon. Every finals that would come on. I was like, man, I had to have my strawberries and cream right there, sitting there at Oklahoma City, watching these guys. So man.
Early in the mornings.
Yeah, Matt. Zach. What about you? What's your favorite tournament?
I've always wanted to go to Wimbledon and play it, and I always watched that on TV when I was a little kid too, and grass too, and how prestigious it is. So I'm have to say Wimbledon, but also U.S. Open. I've had some good moments, some special moments there too, and I love New York too. I like Manhattan, and I'm gonna have to go with Wimbledon, but yeah, those two are my favorite. New York and Wimbledon.
Do you guys like to watch tennis on TV? Interested, because some people might say yes, and some people, there's been a few that have said not really. But Matt, do you like to watch tennis on the tube?
Yeah, absolutely. Depends what tournament, what match. I do. I don't watch all the first rounds of every tournament or anything like that, but I like to obviously keep up with it and scout out, see who Zach's going to be up against one day. Maybe, who knows? But yeah, no, I'm still very much a tennis fan.
What about you, Zach? Are you interested in watching tennis on
Yeah.
TV?
Yeah, kind of what Matt said. I won't watch. It just depends on who's playing, what tournament it is. But yeah, I'm open to watching it, and especially for finals of the tournament, I'll watch it. But at least the highlights. It just depends who.
Do you like to watch Nick Kyrgios on TV? You ever watch Nick?
I do.
Yeah?
I do. Yeah, he's entertaining. Yeah,
Nick?
I'll always watch him.
What do you think with
Mate, you call that a question? You call yourself a journalist, mate. Piss off. Next question, Craig.
Nikki Kiggs. It wouldn't be a show without Nikki Kiggs around. And it looks like we lost Zach for a couple of seconds again. So
He'll be back.
He'll be back here in a second. So, Matt, I always like to ask this question as well. Most embarrassing moment in tennis. Have you ever had like one of those embarrassing moments where you tripped over your shoelaces? Have you? I've hit the net with my foot. I was jumping over the net one time after I beat my dad.
The jump.
Oh,
Yeah, I've got one. Oh gosh. So I was doing it was a charity thing. We had a group of underprivileged children coming out to the courts in McKinney way back. It's like 6 or 7 years ago, and these kids ranged from 9 to 13, and they were strong kids, but never played a lick of tennis. No technique, no nothing, but they had some raw power, right? And I'm up the net, and there was some photographers that come out, local press were taking pictures, and and whatnot. And I'm up at the net tossing them balls and trying to keep 6 kids entertained and blah blah blah. And the photographer's like, "Hey, smile for the camera." I'm like, "Okay." I turn and smile. I toss the ball up, and this one kid connects so well with that overhead and gets me right in the crown jewels.
Oh.
I go down like a sack of potatoes,
Oh.
and I'm quivering like a feather in the wind. It's just not pretty. But you know what? I made those kids' days because they were crying hysterically, and so good for them. That's what the point of the day was. They had fun on the tennis court. There's no levels I won't stoop to make someone's day good on the tennis court, apparently. So that was embarrassing. But I'm all good in case anyone's asking. I'm all good now.
Zach, we asked the most embarrassing moment in tennis. Have you had a moment that stood out that you kind of went, "Ooh, okay," been hitting the crown jewels, or or tripped over
let's see.
shoelaces or anything?
Mac, do you know any? In a
I
tournament?
still think using the same side of your racket's embarrassing, but
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
That's great.
On the
Ooh.
court.
I don't know if I have one.
Well,
yeah,
I'll let you think about it. I'll let you think about it. Because I want to follow up with kind of any superstitions or rituals. Do you have any like Rafa where you have to put the the water bottles in the same?
Oh no, not that extreme. I mean, my racket's pretty extreme for what I do with it. Like I have to hit on the upside, but no, I mean I just have little routines that I do that it's not really that stitious, but I bounce the ball 2 to 3 times, nothing more. Pretty much after every point. But yeah, nothing too much like Rafa.
You don't touch your leg and then your crotch and then your nose.
Oh yeah.
All that. That's it. After the match, I might want to go like this. Go, "Hey, nice match." There's no like, "Hey, bro, nice match." That's like, "Oh, that guy's been touching, some interesting spots of the body, right there." What about you, Matt? Did you have any superstitions or rituals when besides the grip color, at the pro shop, having the match?
I do remember not stepping on the lines. I don't know why. I don't know where that came from. I think like that just evolved. But that would be the only one that was just ridiculous. But yeah.
You didn't wear any certain colors on certain days, or that kind of thing?
No, I just whatever I thought and wrongly thought looked cool. Long hair. I mean, what was I thinking? There's a few horrible fashion moments out there, but no, I wasn't overly indulgent in superstitious activities.
All right, we're rounding the corner now. We're heading down the stretch here. Got a couple more questions for you all, and then we appreciate your time thus far, and it's been a lot of fun. Okay, what sport would you have played if it wasn't for tennis, Matt? Was football over there? Your premier.
Now I'm playing it a bit now. I mean, what a great game golf is. Can you imagine going around to like the nicest country clubs every week and winning majors maybe in your 50s, like Phil Mickelson's doing, and you don't have to go to the gym every day and beat your body up and be in the ice bath. I mean, that's a pretty good one and the money's not bad. I mean, so that would be pretty. It's something I'm enjoying more now in my 40s. I don't know. I guess being a top soccer star in England football, I should say, would be really cool. Being British, winning a World Cup for England and being on a team like that would be amazing. But I think still it goes back to individual sports. That's who I am. I like being in control of my destiny. So I think golf would fulfill that need.
You didn't play any cricket? Did you ever play cricket growing up?
Yeah, it was too slow for me. It's just you're standing out in the fielding and you get one ball every 30 minutes, but you don't have gloves, so now your fingers hurt when you catch that hard ball, and but the tea and biscuits were nice in between, but it was a bit slow for me.
Yeah. What about you, Zach? If you wouldn't have played tennis, what do you think sport you'd be playing?
Yeah, I'll have to go with what Matt said. Literally everything we said about golf. I mean, I've started picking it up too the past couple, like 2 years, and that's actually one thing I do off the court too that I like to do. One of my hobbies. Yeah, I like golf, and that's an individual sport too. Just all for myself, and that's what I enjoy, and I'm have to say golf too.
So do you let the big dog hunt? Are you a driver? You get up there and smack it?
Yeah,
Like,
I could drive all right. Yeah. I do have to work on my short game, especially my putting. But I think just with my timing on court, I could drive it pretty far. Um, may not go straight all the time. I remember with Matt and McKinney, I hit a couple houses in some cars with Matt. Remember that, Matt?
Not good. Not good. Yeah.
There's an embarrassing moment. It wasn't necessarily intent.
It was in golf, not tennis, right?
Okay, yeah, I guess, yeah.
Ooh, that's,
But yeah, no, I don't say golf.
yeah. So it's a fun sport. Anything you can drink a beer and smoke cigarettes and set it
Yeah.
and hit, and you can have about a size 52-inch waist.
Yeah, like Matt said, you don't have to hit the gym every day and beat your body up.
That's a good activity.
Those guys do though. A lot of the
Right.
pros now,
Okay.
they're fairly fit, but not quite like tennis.
Now, didn't Mark Twain say golf is a good walk gone bad?
Spoiled, yeah.
A spoiled walk
Yeah.
gone bad or something like that.
Yeah.
There's something like that associated.
Yeah.
Was I correct on that?
Very good, Mark Twain.
There we go. Okay.
Yes.
It wasn't Winston Churchill, was it? Okay. All right. All right.
It was Teddy Roosevelt.
So,
Sorry.
yeah. Oh, Teddy. Okay. Yeah. If
Yeah.
you wouldn't have been involved in sports, Matt, what would you be doing right now? Do you think? Would you?
Well, certainly business from some angle. Trying to see a niche, trying to see a gap in a market, and try and fill it. Try and do something that hasn't been done. Maybe I don't know what it is. But I like being around people. I like having a team that I work with. I like brainstorming with other people, and not necessarily being in just kind of a one-dimensional role. I like wearing lots of different hats and being able to pivot to other things. So yeah, my answer is kind of vague. Just some entrepreneurial business endeavor, and kind of having my own control over my own schedule.
So you're not you beyond the days of selling Cadbury candy on the factory floor.
Start with that, then you try and create your own bar, don't you? And then you have a
Right.
Cadbury milkshake, and then you see where it goes.
Right. I like that. I thought that was pretty damn
Smart.
ingenious.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I used to sell candy. I used to stop by the 7-Eleven in Oklahoma City, and I'd go take, $1, and I turned it into about $5 because we didn't have a candy machine at the junior high, and so they used to call me the Candy Man. So I was kind of like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So a couple of guys thought I sold candy for a little too high, but that's okay. That's another story. Anyway, Zach. So if you wouldn't be playing tennis, what do you think you'd be doing right now? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, that's like a lot of people ask me. I've done tennis my whole life since I was 2, so that's a tricky question for me. I don't really know if I have an answer to that because I've always just been around tennis my whole life with my dad too. Yeah, I don't know, to be honest, what I would do, but probably, I like to, maybe be an actor or something. I think that's cool. There's something like in LA, just around that. I don't know.
That's a pretty good industry out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there.
Yeah, the industry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to kind of hang out if you're an actor, or those people who always say that they're actors, working at restaurants, few waiters,
Yeah, I know.
striving actor actresses. All right, last question. Here it is, and then we'll let you go. We always like to end with this. This is the creme de la creme. All right. So if you were the commissioner of the great game, we all play the great game here, and that's tennis, and you all could make a change or changes, or if you like it the way it is there anything that you would change about the game, or leave it alone, Matt? What do you think?
Yeah, I think the more we keep changing and the less consistency, then the more confused the public get. When you watch one format and you watch another, and now we've got it in a different capacity, then it just makes that attachment harder, I think, for the average viewer. People want to feel comfortable when they turn on their TV screen and know what they're watching, and not, okay, is this is it first to 4 games? Is it 3 out of 5? Is it the Davis Cup this way or the other way? Is it World Team Tennis? I mean, what is it? So I just think less is sometimes more, in terms of, you simplify it, but let's keep it one answer for that, I suppose. But not keep jacking with it. I just think that just loses interest, and it loses viewers, and then no one wants that, right? So,
Mm.
so
Now,
I didn't answer that one very well.
no, I like that answer because I was going to follow up. Then, do you like the new Davis Cup format? Speaking of format changes, are you a fan of the one location kind of deal, or did you like to see like England maybe host a Davis Cup, playing against whomever, Romania or or Croatia, or or do you like it going over to like Madrid, for the finals, and nobody gets to watch it, kind of deal?
Yeah, I mean, are you looking at it from a spectator's point of view, or for the player's point of view, or from what's better for like the federation that's trying to get their money out of it as well? Because that's a big part of it, right? Because a lot of these federations need that Davis Cup money when they host an event.
That's
So
true.
there's so many moving parts to answering that. I think from a spectator's point of view, it's pretty cool to have at least the home country hosting their own team in the final, and then those crowds. And we never see anything like that in tennis, do we? A Davis Cup home crowd. It's a soccer team. It's a soccer crowd, and it's not usually your average tennis player that's going to watch it as well, which makes it pretty exciting. So I think I like the old format. It needs to be condensed, shorter and sweeter, because that's why I think we were losing a lot of our best players, not signing up for being stretched out over months and months, and it's just a very difficult calendar to fill them. So shorter, less days, doing the same format where you go from a country to a country like they do with European League soccer competitions, same thing. And we all know that they get a lot of spectators through TV and in person, so it can be done. That I would prefer that approach.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. Zach, what about you? Is there anything that you've seen out there that maybe format wise, or you like it the way it is? What do you say?
Yeah, no, I agree with Matt. What he said, I like that too. What he said, but I think there should be. I mean, this is just my opinion, but I think there should be coaching in in the tournaments and the matches, like during the match, because like you have golf, you have your caddy telling what to do, and every other sport, there's, I believe there's coaching, or so I think there should be coaching involved, and not all the time, but I mean just whatever, just have your team there, and but as for changes or anything, no, I think how it is. But I would just say that little what? Yeah, you disagree.
That's
Yeah.
interesting thought. So I want to follow up with you on the coaching aspect. You don't have to mention any names. You just you can say yes or no. Have you ever had seen other players, I guess, receiving coaching? Like they do baseball. Kind of some tweaks
Oh,
like that. Is
I played. Yeah, I played against a couple players, like even in the futures too, in the pro tournaments, that like their coach would be trying to coach or something. But I don't know. I just think like in the next gens, like what they have, if they you don't have to put on a headset and talk to them, but I don't know, just something like that.
I like the coaching aspect personally. I like the one maybe one visit a set kind of deal that the women do on the tour. The
Right.
Sabalenka and what was it?
Dmitry Tursunov had a
Tursunov,
great
yeah.
priceless
God.
exchange once.
I
Yeah.
don't. Do you remember that one, Matt? Do you remember what?
No.
So Sabalenka calls him down, and he walks down, and she just sits there, and he's trying to bend down, kind of looking at her, and doesn't say anything, not a word. She's not giving him anything to work with. Like, hey, why'd you call me down here? He just sits there and kind of, and then time.
Cameras and mics are on, by the way.
Yes, and
Like it's this awkward thing.
and then the umpire goes time, and then he just walks off. Not one word was said. It was you could hear the announcers. I just remember them talking, and they were laughing. They were going, "What the heck was that?" Why did she call him down there?
Body language, Craig.
I guess
Body language.
maybe that was it. Like, yeah, I was like, "Come on, Russian, you better do something." But it was really funny exchange.
Speaking of language,
Yeah.
the second funniest exchange I've ever seen was not Prakash, but Stephen Armitrage with Ali Risk. He was coaching her. They were mic'd up. It was on camera. He was screaming at her and used the F word.
Oh,
She wins the match, and they are now married.
different strokes.
Crazy.
Different strokes for different folks, right?
I don't get it.
Yeah. It's not my
So
cup of tea.
funny.
My cup of tea. But speaking of cups of tea, hey, it's time to let you guys go. We certainly appreciate your time.
Boys, what a
Yeah,
fun night
yeah.
with Matt
It
Hanlon,
was.
Zachary Svida. You
Yeah.
guys rock. I will touch base with the tournament director of the 250 here in Dallas. Zachary,
All right.
I have this vision of you playing USA Davis Cup one day, and I will support you every step of the way. We both will.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
Matt,
you so much, guys.
tell everybody how to find you again, Matt. Tell us, tell the viewers.
Impactactivities.com.
Yep, that's pretty
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah,
Matt?
we have Facebook, we have Instagram. You just get after it.
Right.
Speaking of Instagram, Zach Svida, what is yours? Is it ZACHSVA?
Yes, then 2002.
2002, the year
Yeah.
of birth. Yeah,
Yep,
good.
you got it.
So that you can,
Awesome.
they can hit you up over there on Instagram.
Yeah, go check
Oh yeah.
this guy's training and his fun stuff.
Do
You guys, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you TikTok? Are you a TikToker?
I don't know. Sometimes I'll watch it, but yeah, no, I don't post or dance.
He does. He's,
He does.
he's
I'll
a
have to see
famous
that.
TikToker. Oh,
I
yeah.
don't. I'm about double the age of the average TikToker, so that's not happening.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Well, gentlemen, it's been a real pleasure, a real honor. You know, we appreciate you taking a couple hours. We're honing in on 2 hours right now. And we could even go longer if you wanted to. But
We can go 5 sets,
Oh
but
yeah, no, there's
we'll
some more
let
stuff.
Zach do that at the slams.
Oh yeah, no,
All right.
yeah. So when you're next in town, let us know because we've got a couple
Yeah.
good barbecue
We'll-
spots, and
We'll take you to lunch.
yeah, we'll take you to lunch. We'll even invite Matt along
That's
also too.
right.
We'll let him pick up the tab.
That's funny.
right.
Great.
Looks like Zach's already gone, so he's
Good night,
out.
boys.
All right. So
Been
See
a
you.
pleasure, guys.
yeah,
Good
thank
seeing
you.
See you soon.
We appreciate you too, also too. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks. See you
What-
guys.
What a fun show,
Oh,
AJ.
good
man,
fellas.
Was that great?
Good fellas, Zachary
Oh,
and Matt.
man.
Yeah, that was really fun for us.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Looks like Zach's trying to get back in. Should we? We'll tell him goodbye one more time.
Oh yeah, we'll
Well-
do the very European many goodbyes.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Okay.
Zachary, thanks again.
Yeah.
Have a lovely evening.
Awesome.
And have a great Christmas, buddy. Take
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
Thank you. You
Thanks
guys too.
Yeah, Matt already
Thank
took
you.
off, and so we
Oh, he
sent
did.
back in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, but I just let
Alright.
you back in. So
Hey,
really, really appreciate it.
Do you want to
Thank
make
you.
fun of him now that he's gone?
That's
you
right.
you have any?
Oh, I know.
Any
I
dirt on Matt,
appreciate
you can let us know. So, but no,
All right.
yeah,
Awesome.
well,
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 thank you guys.
best of luck in the career coming up. We look forward to hopefully finding you in Dallas one day, and
Yeah, I'll be
see you
back.
maybe at the Open. So AJ,
Yeah.
that's his project. We're
I
gonna
love it.
get Zach at the DO.
Yes. Awesome. Well,
See you soon.
thank you guys for having me.
Take
Alright,
care,
well,
Zach.
Thanks, Zach. See you later. Good night. Yeah,
Well,
fun show. huh?
CB, good
Oh, man,
show. You
yeah.
are hilarious. That was really funny. Well done.
Well, we had a good time,
Great
And-
questions. Great
and,
stuff.
yeah. We could have kept going, but I thought, 2 hours. That's about
2 hours is perfect. Yeah.
That's a good time. So let's cue up the music right there with Mr.
James Scott Campbell with the song called Semi Western.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to season 1. That would be episode 104 in the can. AJ,
Amazing.
Isn't that amazing? Join us next week. Excuse me. Join us next week as we're talking to Nathan DeVere.
Yeah,
De
De Vere from
Vere.
Holland, from
Holland.
the Netherlands.
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah. So we're going to talk to him at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock on next Sunday.
That's right, 2 o'clock Central.
Yep.
That is fairly late night over in Europe,
Yep.
and
Yep.
we're thankful we've got him as a guest. Great coach.
Yep. And so we're going to be talking a little of the great game with Mr. Nathan. And I think we'll take off probably the holiday for the holidays on Christmas.
We
on the-
will,
on the
and for
26th.
Craig Bell's birthday.
Oh, that's a
We-
national
That's
holiday.
early January. We got to take that off.
Oh yeah. Wow.
But,
I don't know about that. Yeah.
Prepare for Nathan. What an incredible coach with a great internet presence.
Right.
So we'll have a great time with him. That is on December the 19th.
coming up. That's right.
Good
Yep.
stuff, man.
And then also join us on Wednesday nights. And sometimes we like to talk a little tennis shorts over on
We
Instagram.
do.
don't we?
We have one on the 15th. I believe we're off on the 22nd, but 15th is this Wednesday. Join us. We get to find out. We call it tennis shorts. We get to find out what's in Craig Bell's tennis shorts.
I say absolutely. It's a big fat goose egg. Nothing. There is nothing there. So, but we have a lot of fun over on Instagram. We only can go for an hour, so we do a couple of legs. Last week we had actually did a couple more than 2 legs. So
We did. We had a lot. You had a lot
some
of
good
tennis
content.
tidbits.
Yep.
There was a lot of tennis business, even though there wasn't as much tennis action going on. And I surmise, I believe we'll do that on the 15th. And then basically it'll be our year-end special.
Yep.
So join us Wednesday night for tennis shorts, and definitely next week for Nathan.
Lastly, be sure to tell a friend or friends and become net heads like you all are. Like and follow us on Facebook. Unfortunately, tonight Zoom had some issues and it didn't quite sync up, so that's why we had to come over to YouTube.
Yep.
But like our Facebook page, ATNP, just like right there, with AJC and CB1. That's our new page over on Facebook, and then also here on YouTube, Instagram, and other social media outlets. Plus, always tell a friend or friends. We love friends, right?
Love you guys. Share, like, subscribe, and see you Wednesdays and Sundays.
And that's the tennis news, because James Scott Campbell is over as it
Seems to us.
Good night, everybody.
Very professional. That was really fun.
Yeah, we had a good time.